Hello everyone, this is Showtime 112. The Brewster Buffalo is easily one of World War II's most criticized fighter planes. In the skies over the Pacific, Japanese Zeros tore the Buffalo apart at the Battle of Midway. Things didn't go much better in the hands of RAF and Commonwealth pilots in Malaya and Singapore, or the Dutch Air Force in the East Indies. Still, even the harshest critics have to admit the Buffalo achieved truly remarkable success in one theater, when flown by the Finnish Air Force. Back in the late 1930s, desperate European governments raced to buy any modern combat aircraft they could find, and many looked to the USA. Finland wasn't picky. In fact, their only requirements were that the planes had to be available immediately and run on 87-octane fuel. Brewster made a timely offer. 44 near-complete Buffaloes, originally destined for the US Navy, became available to the Finns by December 1939. The Finnish model, designated B-239, skipped the Buffalo name, with Finns simply calling it the Brewster. These export-ready fighters had a slightly downgraded Cyclone engine and were stripped of naval gear. The urgency paid off. On November 30, 1939, Finland fell victim to a Soviet invasion that sparked the Winter War. Just 6 Brewsters arrived before that conflict ended in March 1940, flying only a handful of inconclusive interception missions, with Lento-Laivue or Squadron 22. Despite ceding territory to the USSR, Finnish leaders, left unsure about Soviet intentions, used peacetime to prepare. The Brewsters were reassigned to Lento-Laivue 24, which until then had flown Dutch-built Fokker D-21s. The squadron couldn't switch earlier because of the Winter War, but wound up flying the Brewster for over 4 years. Facing overwhelming Soviet numbers, Finnish pilots leaned on smart training and tactics. They adopted the pair, rather than 3-plane formations as the basic fighter unit. With less agile aircraft than their Soviet adversaries, they perfected pendulum, or boom and zoom attacks, climbing above enemy planes, diving for a strike, then climbing away to attack again. 4 weeks before Operation Barbarossa, German officials tipped off Finland to the coming invasion of the USSR. Finland mobilized, and Lento-Laivue 24, commanded by Major Gustav Magnusson, became a key defender against Soviet bomber raids. 3 of the squadron's 4 flights were stationed at Vesivehma, with the second forward positioned at Selanpää, closer to the Soviet border. It was at this moment the so-called Continuation War reignited hostilities. The forward deployment paid off. At 6 a.m. on June 25, the first Soviet bomber formations entered Finnish airspace. The Brewsters from the second flight, piloted by Staff Sergeant Eero Kinnunen and Corporal Heimo Lampi, scrambled to intercept. Minutes after takeoff, they spotted 27 Tupolev SB bombers. Lampi reached them first, attacking the rightmost plane and setting it aflame. Finnish pilots usually close to within 50 meters before firing, making the job of defensive gunners harder and maximizing their own accuracy. Lampi continued his attack, selecting 2 bombers in a 3-airplane flight on the right side of the bomber formation. One of the bombers began to smoke and lose altitude. Lampi followed, but had to pull away to the right, as the bomber suddenly slowed down. Lampi turned back behind the SB bomber and hit its port engine. The Soviet bomber was now trailing fire, and it eventually crashed. After seeing Lampi shoot down his first bomber, Eero Kinnunen chose his own target, which quickly caught fire. The Finnish pilot then attacked another bomber, which went down in flames. Kinnunen fired at 3 more bombers, all of which started to smoke. Kinnunen was, however, hit by defensive fire and wounded in the arm, forcing him to abort further attacks. The Soviet SB bombers belonging to the 201st High-Speed Bomber Regiment were attempting to attack the Lentolaivoe 24 main base, but they lost 5 airplanes to Kinnunen and Lampi. Each of the Finnish pilots was credited with 2.5 victories. Eero Kinnunen had previously been credited with 3.5 kills in the Winter War, and these victories made him an ace. But the Soviets weren't finished. More unescorted bombers came through that morning, with Finnish fighters claiming 5 more kills, and Kinnunen adding 2 more to his tally. Soviet records confirmed the loss of 10 bombers that day, including 4 flown by squadron commanders. Warrant Officer Yrjö Turka also made ace, adding 2 kills to his Winter War tally of 4. After the brutal air battles of June 25, Soviet raids briefly eased. In the last 3 days of June, Brewster pilots secured 12 additional victories, including 2 Beriev MBR-2 flying boats on the 29th by First Lieutenant Pekka Kokko, making him another Finnish ace. Kokko took off at 10:40 on a combat air patrol with Corporal Mellin on his wing. At 11:35, he spotted 2 Soviet flying boats and intercepted them. His wingman was lagging behind, so Lieutenant Kokko attacked alone. Only his fuselage guns worked, and on his first attack, he only caused small damage. But he then attacked the second Beriev flying boat, and all of his guns worked this time. Kokko then attacked his first target, which had in the meantime been attacked by his wingman. This time, Lieutenant Kokko was successful, and the other flying boat crashed as well. He added these 2 victories to his score of 3.5 from the Winter War, and achieved the ace status. The leading Finnish Winter War ace, Jorma Sarvanto, was able to increase his score on that same day, 29 June 1941. He intercepted one of the new Petljakov P-2 medium bombers. Only available in small numbers, Soviets used them mostly for reconnaissance in this early phase of the war. Sarvanto spotted 2 Petljakovs at 3,000 meters, flying towards Utti. The 2 Soviet planes were separated by 600 meters, and Sarvanto instructed his wingman to attack the southern one, while he focused on the northern plane. The Finnish pilot couldn't easily approach the fast Soviet bomber, so he opened fire from a larger than usual distance of about 400 meters. Damaging one of the engines enabled the Brewster pilot to approach and finish off the Petlyakov, which went down and crashed. Sarvanto was unable to catch up with the second bomber, which escaped. While the Soviets claimed to have destroyed 130 Finnish aircraft on the ground during their offensive from June 25 to 29, Finnish and Luftwaffe records report only 2 lightly damaged planes. Meanwhile, Finnish fighter squadrons claim 24 Soviet bombers shot down, half by Lentolaivuė 24. Soviet loss records largely confirm these claims. Only 1 Brewster was lost, and that in a takeoff accident. With early Operation Barbarossa's success, Finnish forces went on the offensive, tasked with reclaiming lost territory. Brewster pilots now had to protect advancing troops and faced not just bombers, but Soviet fighters as well. The story of Finnish Brewsters is just beginning. There's much more to come. Let us know in the comments what you think of this new video series, and as always, keep watching Showtime 112.